We went and made a music video about this pedal. I never said it was a good video, but at least it's on brand.
Fidelity, I've lost my identity. Can't see the broken road. It's laid out in front of me. Night falls in front of me. Surrounding me, I can't see. Feel it growing inside of me. This Lord fidelity, I feel it grow. See the ripples show.
Big thanks to my pal Kyle there for writing the lyrics, performing the vocals, and for coming out in some absolutely freezing temperatures with me to make all that happen. Everyone deserves a friend in their life like Kyle there. And the dude's got a lot of other projects going on. You can check out links down in the description. Thanks again, man. So the Ibanez LF-7 Lo-Fi pedal, obviously part of the famous 7 series of pedals with the retractable knobs that I love so much. It's got 4 of them and a switch, which is labeled guitar, drums, and mic. These help match these controls to each of those applications. Like the mic setting gives it a huge boost in volume, so you can plug in a microphone with a 1/4-inch jack and get it to the same level that a guitar would be at. For that amazing opening song, I used this setting for the intro guitar to get that AM radio sound. Then I used a slightly backed off setting based on something the manual has labeled as warm tube combo for the main and lead guitar parts. For the vocals, I re-recorded clean vocals because I don't have a microphone with a 1/4-inch jack on it. So I went with this setting, which I toggled back and forth throughout the song.
Feel it growing inside of me. This Lord fidelity.
And I didn't use the pedal on the drums there, but here's what it can do when applied to some percussion. For the controls here, we've got a knob that lets us bring in some distortion, which is actually pretty tasty all by itself. Then we've got our low and high cut frequency knobs, and we can actually see what they do right here. When we raise the low cut knob, it attenuates these lower frequencies. And when we lower the high cut knob, it attenuates the higher frequencies. And if we move both knobs to the middle, we're left with a relatively narrow range of frequencies, which gives it that seriously lo-fi, busted tape kind of sound, especially when we factor in a little clipping from the distortion knob. But why would anyone want a lo-fi pedal? I mean, we talked about the analogizer. That's a pedal meant to take the digital edge off of some pedals and inject a little bit of warmth, but this seems a tad more destructive. Well, let me ask, you ever see a singer use a megaphone? It might seem like a rude way of asking for more volume from the sound guy, but there's actually more to it than that. Megaphones are meant to be portable, durable, and loud. Sound quality is way down towards the bottom of the list. So why would a vocalist like Lane Staley, Michael Stipe, Scott Weiland want to make their voice sound bad? I think it comes down to it being another flavor of dynamics to play around with. Dynamics like volume, tempo, and attack. We often miss these when we just look at guitar tab and chord sheets, but real written sheet music has all these markings that spell out the various dynamics at work in a song. If Metallica's One started right into the second half, then the song wouldn't feel like it was taking us on a journey. Speaking of journey, imagine if Don't Stop Believing started with the full band at full volume doing that main riff instead of starting with that iconic solo piano part. I remember getting the Stone Temple Pilots 1992 album Core, getting it home, putting it into the family CD player, hearing the intro to the very first song, Dead and Bloated, and thinking, this album sounds like crap. It sounds like AM radio. I wasted $15 on this. And that intro, which is just Scott Weiland screaming, I am smelling like a rose, that somebody gave me on a birthday deathbed. And it goes on just long enough for you to start to adjust your expectations to it right before the full band comes in. And then it hits you. Like, it really hits you, almost like a bait and switch. Fake them out with the lo-fi opening track, then hit them with the old razzle-dazzle. And that's kind of what I tried to do with the opening track there, using the AM radio style guitar and vocals before, and then pulling that effect away and letting the full sound hit. Of course, with audio compression from YouTube and whatever device you're watching this on, that might not land with that impact that it did when I was mixing it all together here, but you get the idea. And Scott Weiland loved using a megaphone as part of live shows as a way of intentionally clipping and squishing his naturally dynamic and expressive voice for effect, the same way we use distortion and delay and all of our other guitar effects to telegraph to the listener, hey, there's something different going on right here. You should pay attention to this. Pearl Jam used something similar on the song Black, which starts out with the guitar and some background vocals sounding all distant and AM radio-y. And then the bass goes boom, 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 and the band comes in. It's a beautiful song. Our Lady Peace, also a huge fan of the lo-fi effect. They use it on pretty much all their albums, on guitar, vocals, drums, especially vocals, but especially drums. And I keep saying AM radio, but if you grew up with one of these in your house, you might say it sounds a bit like a telephone, because up until everything went digital, the effect of the voice being limited to a 300 to 3400 hertz frequency range was very apparent. It was good enough to at least understand what the other person was saying, but you could definitely tell when somebody was talking through a telephone. It actually reminds me of the They Might Be Giants dial-a-song service, where the Johns would record various odds and ends onto a tape answering machine in Brooklyn, and let people call it up to hear what they were up to. It was kind of like a SoundCloud before the cloud. Simpler times. Once again, big thanks to Kyle for helping me put this all together. Thanks to Jack Attack for getting this into my hot little hands. I told you I'd make a great video about it. And of course, thank you to you for keeping this channel going. I'll catch you on the next one.